starts on time. All right.
Is it going? It may be going.
She said all right.
It is live on this side.
Okay, cool.
It's not live on
Yeah, it takes a second. Hey, guys.
Hello!
So we just set up this whole studio, and we're really excited to share some poems with you guys tonight. So we've been working on an album the last year. My name's Jeff. I go by the artist moniker Cathartic Fall. And yeah, I make ambient music, and I'm a songwriter, and I released an album about a month and a half ago. And I had in the works the whole time to include some people that are really beautiful creatives that are just a really awesome collaboration that we had in the works. So yeah, I want to introduce these people. On my left here is my good buddy, Matthias J. Barker. He is I skipped a bunch of these slides here. Maybe I should say the things. I just want to say a couple things before we even dive in, which is this is basically one thing we want to do as we're creating this content is we're trying to get spoken word artists' voices heard. And a way that we can do that is by streaming this album that comes out. And because we're not asking for money, we're flew people here, and we're basically just trying to get this as much attention on Spotify as we can. So we actually have some people from Spotify that are watching right now, and if we can get a lot of action on Spotify, we're kind of trying to convince them to create a spoken word editorial playlist, and that's kind of part of the ask here. So yeah, but basically the whole premise behind this project is ask anybody who works with me, I'm a very emotionally feeling person, and I gravitate toward people who like to make art that expresses vulnerable emotions. And so these people are examples of that. So to reintroduce my friend, Matthias J. Barker. Thanks for hosting. This is his space. This is a new space that he's got. It's beautiful. And
Breaking it in.
Yeah, we're just so lucky to be here, man.
Yeah.
It feels great.
Yeah, happy to be with you. Yeah, happy to be doing this with you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for putting this together.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad to be here. So Matthias and I are close friends. We've known each other for, how long have we known each other?
Since we were like 15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Man,
a long time.
it's like more than half our life.
Yeah.
Like we're both 32. Our birthdays are like a couple days apart.
Yeah, we grew up in high school playing in the same band. He was the front guy, just like playing all his music, and so I played acoustic guitar for his band going around.
There it is.
Yep, so I would play guitar.
Look at that hair, dude. Man.
We had it going on, dude.
Yeah. Wow, I was really sweaty too.
Yeah.
There's your head laid back there.
We play shows and just get to hang out with our group of friends, and that was like the peak of like high school experience, was just getting to play in band with my buddy Jeff. So yeah, this is exciting. We get to all these years later be hanging out with you, doing this together.
And yeah, now he's doing incredible things. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably here because you know Matthias. But if you don't, Matthias is an incredible tour de force in the mental health world. He's, he talks about relationships in his work, life transitions. And I should mention that he also helped me spearhead this project. I have done a lot of artist projects over the years, and there was one day that you're making a gratitude meditation and you wanted some music behind it. And for those of you who know the song With Eyes Open, that was the first Cathartic Fall song that ever existed. And that was just direct from making something to Matthias's video. And it took me less than a day to make that song, and I'm like, I'm hooked. I want to make more of this music. It was so meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's our relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think in general, because you've been doing music for, years and years. You've been kind of like in LA, like helping other artists kind of like take off, and you've been co-writing a lot and doing a lot of artist projects that have had a lot of success, that have actually like kind of like blown up in the world and done some really cool things.
Yeah.
And so I think reaching out to you to help with like a song, or I was doing like this gratitude meditation, like you said. So doing this gratitude meditation was just like inviting you into something that was very different, I guess, than what your typical thing was. Like it's not pop music. It's just almost like this light, ambient, kind of sweet track that was just to help people contemplate and kind of go into something deeper. And I think that you did it. You nailed it. And that sounds like it kind of sparked a desire for you to make more of that type of music. Were you making tons of that?
No. I think, I think I'd avoided it because growing up in the church and then leaving the church, I think all my musical influence was there. Mm-hmm. And because
church music has this kind of like light ambient kind of tone to it.
Yeah.
It's very.
Yeah, and I think that I think for a long time I ran away from that, and I neglected all of the beauty that was there, and I just kind of found myself being drawn back to the sonic elements of why that was so special to me. And I feel like we're creating something really interesting now.
Yeah. That's sweet.
So
that's cool. Yeah,
thanks for the intro. Appreciate it, man. And to my right, we have the lovely Allie Michelle. Allie is. I'm so glad you're here. First of all, it's just it's so nice. So she's also a poet, and she makes a lot of content on Instagram and TikTok. She does things regarding mindfulness. She's also an author, 3-time best-selling author. Works with self-love, healing, connection to nature. I'm trying to think, what else can we talk about? What's the name of your novel?
Oh, Legends of Lemuria.
Yeah. I wanted to order when I was in Europe, and it was like expensive on Amazon. I couldn't figure it out. But okay, can you tell?
I'm glad
the
you
best
mentioned
intro
that.
I've ever had.
I would have bought your book, but it's
No.
expensive.
I want to buy it. Can you tell us about it?
The book?
Yeah.
I grew up loving fantasy novels because I was a super shy kid, and so I would literally write kids in my class letters to like talk to them. And so I just spent so much of my life in another world, and what I realized is it expands your capacity for empathy to read fiction and fantasy, because you have to climb inside of someone else's perspective and live 1,000 lives within your one.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to take kind of how the alchemist did, like all of the wisdom and life lessons I learned, and sneak it into a story, because I think the best place to hide the truth is in fiction. And I also love dragons, and I wish I saw like a cool female lead growing up. So that's all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, I'm pretty sure it is available to purchase on Amazon, right?
Yes, it is expensive if you're in Europe, but so sorry.
So I'm really excited. So first of all, guys, we wrote these poems, and I didn't explain this at the beginning, but we wrote these poems, and she, damn it, he has not heard her poem, she has not heard his poem, and neither of them have heard my poem. And I also want to mention, some of you guys are here to see Whitney Hansen. Whitney is not going to be joining us tonight. She wanted to be here and had some really urgent stuff come up, and she can't be here. She's sad about that, and she sends you her best. However, we do still have her video and poem that we're going to be sharing. So we have a total exclusive look. Toward the end, we have Whitney Hansen's totally unseen, unheard poem. And she's really excited to share with you guys, even though she's not here. So Whitney, if you're watching, we miss you, we love you, and we'll hopefully see you soon. Anyway, so nobody has heard anybody's poems, and we've been working on this kind of in the dark, and I kind of wanted to keep it that way, because I think that sometimes when we're working on collaborative projects like this, what happens is we're comparing our work to other people's, and we're trying to figure out, how do we make this competitive, how do we make this better, and I just wanted to see, see what happens if we have a little culture between ourselves. I had not met Allie or Whitney. Trev Semensky, shout out to him. He's another person on the album who's not here tonight. I hadn't met any of these people before.
You met me.
I have met him.
You knew me.
But I hadn't met the other poets, and just to find that we could really enter some pretty vulnerable territory quickly. I think just by showing up, by honoring our own values, and saying, there were points of just we had a recording that was done, and Allie nailed it, and then she went to a studio, she recorded the whole thing, and I was like, Allie, I think the end is wrong. She's like, really? And it's
Did I say it in that tone?
No, you said it much nicer. I'm exaggerating, but there was just a point where we're making art together, and it's scary, because when you make art, you don't want to compromise, because you don't want to look at the art later and resent it. You don't want to say I didn't give this my best. And so when we're collaborating on something, for us to make something that I was this isn't quite value aligned for me, to say I might risk just blowing up the whole project and us starting over. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think there was there was kind of something where you said, wow, this actually like really means a lot to you. And that was really validating for me to hear. Like you saw like, yeah, I really do care about this. I don't just want to like send you back to the studio for no reason. And we ended up making something that I think is incredible. And obviously you at the helm steering the ship. And so yeah, for me, it's just been a real fun experiment in meeting people quickly and having a real mutual connection over art and see what that's like. And so yeah, I met Allie today for the first time. We picked her up from the airport a couple hours ago, and we're here working on technical issues and things, and yeah, so all that is happening. Yeah, what's next? There's no slide that I can read. Is there something next?
She wants you to be spontaneous.
There's no slide. Anyway, we're supposed to be spontaneous. Let's see. What do we got? Are you guys still with me? I also want to know. You guys are saying, "Hey, wow, we got a lot of people commenting." I just want to make sure we got New York City here. We got London, England here. We got Florida. Hey, Florida. Ada Seda from Florida. Amy Rosenberg from Pennsylvania. Want to say hey? We got Is This Helping from New Jersey. We got St. Louis. Wow, there's so much. There's a lot of echo. Well, we tried, guys. We're doing our best. Okay. Acoustics are affected by the hard surfaces, and it sounds like there's only one mic. Wow, you guys are brutal. We're trying. Okay. Anyway, so I guess we're probably gonna start with Allie's poem, and I'm really excited to share this with you because it's been. She went all out. We have, we hired a cast member. Do you want to tell him beforehand what or do you want to wait until after to give him a little taste of it? I just want to make
maybe after, so I don't give something away.
Okay, all right. We're not going to give it away. And this is I guess that's just it. Do we want to roll?
Let's roll it.
Roll just this. This is Allie's poem. We're going to watch it with you guys for the first time. And for the first time, here it is.
I wish I could live my life in reverse. Make my last breath my first so I would know what it's worth. I would look at every wrinkle and wonder how I earned those lines. Who did I love so fully they made me smile that many times? What did I weep for losing that my hair turned colorless and gray? Did my heart grow this big because of how often I let it break? Now I'm in my 90s. I see my life from my porch, smell the summer jasmine, and feel my husband's withered palm beneath my fingertips. At this point, we read each other's minds, grateful to be in silence, still together after all this time. Now I'm in my 70s. I hear the laughter of my grandchildren. They ask me how to be extraordinary. And I just say, baby, find magic in the ordinary. Because the greatest legacy that you can leave is love. Now I'm in my 50s. I braid my child's hair just before she walks down the aisle, and I let her go, trusting that I raised her to trust herself. I can't protect her from life, but I can teach her how to make a mosaic from the pieces of every beautiful mistake. Now I'm in my 30s. My wrinkles disappear and I meet the love of my life. The first time our fingers interlace, I would think that his skin is the closest I've come to touching God. We argue over which dish set to buy. and I can't help but laugh at what a miracle it is to fight over porcelain plates. Now I'm in my 20s, wearing the confidence of all my years, as I cherish these well-earned days, enjoying a body without limits. I get to be with my parents, read poetry to my mom, and bake pumpkin pie with my dad, knowing there's no better way to spend my time than that. Now I'm in my teens. Tears roll down my cheeks as I look around and see everyone losing their days to a screen. I want to shout from the rooftops, this is it. You're alive. Please, just enjoy the ride, or life will slip through your fingertips. Now I'm a child, without a single question for purpose or the meaning of life. My laugh can rattle the stars, and I have no thought of the future, not a single scar. My mother hands me a paintbrush and tells me the art will always save you. This is how we steal our time back, honey. Soon I'm taking my first breath, and I hear my father's voice. His hands are the entire universe, and my small body is a world unto itself. He calls me sunshine, and I feel a fire ignite in me that will never go out. Now I'm in her womb. I hear muffled voices talking to me and smile, because I've waited my whole life to feel my heart beat for the first time. What a gift it is, just to be here, just now, just this, just this.
Wow.
It goes to me. Oh my god.
That is so good. That is amazing.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
Give me a hug. That was so awesome.
You did such a good job.
You nailed it.
that was incredible.
How did
That
that?
was emotional.
How did that feel to see it? With just knowing everyone's watching it, we're all just sucked into it. How did that feel?
I forgot everyone's watching it. I just
yeah, I kind of did too.
yeah, I felt it. I think it's so rare that you get to see so much of your life in one place and zoom out
Yeah.
like that, and so it just it makes me realize how special
Yeah.
it all is.
Guys, that just so you're aware, that's all the footage that we shot. None of that was B-roll footage from like a kid on a playground. That's actually Allie and her family, and like that shot at the end, that was Allie in the womb. We got actual womb footage from the source. Shout out to Mama.
My mom had to learn how to use Google Drive. It was a big moment for her.
But yeah, it was such a beautiful thing when you like you started experimenting. I remember I was in Europe and you were sending me just like messages like, I had this idea of like doing a life in reverse thing, and I always felt like the song Just This had this like transcendent kind of quality, and I feel like as I'm listening to it now, it feels like when I go back and listen to the instrumental version of Just This, I was telling you, it feels like a little bit incomplete, and this just kind of tells the story so well, and like I'm just so happy that it ended up like this. But I'm talking a lot. What was it like? So we had what was the woman's name at the front at the beginning?
Babu.
Babu. Tell us about
Yeah.
Babu.
So obviously this poem is very visual,
Yeah.
and my mom, she was like, I can play 90s, give me the right makeup, but we were like, no, you can't. And so I put out an ad on my story basically asking if there was a woman in her 90s that looked like me that would be available for this.
Yeah.
And this girl who's friends with my childhood best friend was like, I think my mom would be perfect. And she sends me a photo, and we looked so much alike. And then she walks in, and I bring her tea, and she's like, where is the coffee? And I was like, oh my God, this is me. And I'm watching her, and she's like, you find good husband in library. And like, what else did she say? She has early onset dementia, but she said, you are the people you love, not your memories.
Wow, that's a really beautiful way to navigate that.
Yeah, because even as her memories go, the love is still so present for her. And so it was just a really emotional experience filming with my mom and with her, having to go through like 200 hours of stock footage of my childhood. I mean, not stock footage, camcorder footage.
Yeah.
So this is the most personal project I've ever done, and
Wow.
yeah.
Cool. I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but it's just so cool to like. I feel honored to have you like on, and now it's gonna be like on Spotify forever.
Yeah.
I also didn't mention, you guys. Sorry, I put this in. It's gonna be on Spotify exclusively for like 3 hours because they're the only company that allows us to upload at a certain time. So don't go to Apple Music first. You're gonna go just to Spotify, and the record releases in 38 minutes, 8 p.m. Central. Sorry, we interrupt this show and we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
But yeah, I feel really honored to be a part of this, and I wouldn't have written that poem if I hadn't heard your song. So that was the first time in my life that the music informed the words.
Yeah, interesting. So you don't usually like write to music. It's
I mean,
not a
just
thing.
in the background, but
Sure.
I was on a walk and I was consciously trying to be like, okay, what does this sound like to me? What
Yeah.
story is this telling?
Yeah.
And it just felt like you said, a transcendent quality. So
Yeah.
thank you.
No, thank you. I'm so stoked. Matthias, have any feelings about that?
Was there any other directions that you considered going artistically? Just, I know that you're moving backwards in time. It had to be hard to pick the different epochs of time and then how to encapsulate, okay, so we're going 70s and then 50s. Like, I don't know, you could have talked about anything with teens. So tell me about your just artistic process of zooming up on the thing that symbolizes the whole period for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was initially a different poem, and then we ended up making it go in reverse, and I loved it so much more. But I was trying to think of what those.
Wait, I
typical-
forgot. What, it was originally a different poem?
I mean, it was a similar message, but it wasn't like I'm actually living my life in reverse.
I see.
It was just kind of pivotal moments throughout your life, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And then you
So-
threw it in reverse after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to think about these like moments in life that really stick out, and I actually asked my mom some of the things that stuck out to her. And
Oh, sweet.
yeah, and so part of it was like actually consulting people who were in that experience and what that would feel like. And then I had it was so much longer, and then my best friend who plays my husband in that came through, and he's like, cut. Now it's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Dakota. Thanks
Shout
for.
out to Dakota.
Yeah.
He actually, this is a fun fact, he's shorter than me, and so he went on his toes while we were fighting, and I was bent down, and he was like, I need you to sound really angry about plates. You probably heard it because you edited it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that was a
hilarious.
fun moment.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ali, thank you so much for all of it.
Thank you.
It's great.
It's great. Thanks for sharing it.
I think we're gonna move on to Matthias's, and I don't think we have a lot of. Do you just want to just play it and then we can talk about it, or you want to give some kind of intro for it?
Can I talk about your song for a second? First?
Yeah. Of course.
So part of what Jeff did is he assigned us songs, and was like, you're going to do a spoken word over this song, or maybe you gave other people a pick. You assigned me my song, and so I remember hearing the song and feeling like, okay, what is this song trying to tell? And I was I remember thinking at first, just like, what is the story of the song? Almost just trying to get in Jeff's head. But then there was like this shift of just like, okay, hold on, like, what does this bring up in me? And a lot of my work is like very intellectual. It's very talking about mental health. It's talking about relationships. It's talking about, a lot of personal things, but I don't maybe go as deep into just pulling from my own emotions in order to create something. It's often me encapsulating the experiences of a lot of people, of my clients that I work with, of people that I've talked to in the therapist chair, and I speak from my own experience at different times, but I guess in this project I just went way more personal. I just went way deeper into it, and just this message of just breathe has this. It's almost like deceivingly simple advice to just breathe, because on one level, it's the only like life force in us that we have like conscious control over. We don't have the same control over our heartbeat or our brain functioning and like turning like we don't have other like on and off control in the body like we do with breath. It's one of those things that we need to do to survive. We can bring into conscious awareness, or it just runs in the background if we're not thinking about it. And so it's this weird like threshold of consciousness where you can kind of step into some of the underlying hardware of who you are through breath. And then so I just kind of took some moments to breathe and just focused on what it felt like to be in just a state of like really consciously breathing, and just what emotions that just brought up in me. And I think the honest space that kind of came to mind immediately was just like a lot of pain that I was in. And I had a weird year this year. There was just a few moments this year where I just had some interpersonal conflicts just in my personal life that really shook me kind of to my core. And it's weird being a therapist and going through a crisis. It's weird being someone who speaks about how to get through crises and then to go through one of your own. And then also try to put on a good face because people are counting on you. And you have clients that are showing up each week and they need you. And it's not your time to talk about your own problems, you're there for theirs. And so there was almost just this moment of kind of radical honesty in the video of a lot of shame that I was feeling and a lot of just sadness that I was going through that I hadn't really let leak out in my public work at all. I've just kind of kept it personal. And then through just kind of this abstract thing, just letting myself tell a little bit about that story in a way that still kind of puts up some boundaries that feel comfortable in regards to just the public nature of my work. So yeah, that's a little bit of context.
Thanks, man. It's beautiful.
Let's see it. I'm excited to show it.
Yeah, let's, without further ado, this is going to be Breathe.
I don't know when the pain's gonna stop. I'm working on it. And I don't know when this floor's gonna drop, but I'm stepping gently, softly, carefully. Every grain in this hardwood floor squeaks. Every cell in my body aches. How do I step and not make sound? How do I not feel like this? Managing these emotions, it just feels like putting up sails in a storm. Why does every effort I extend seem to topple me over? Every way that I cope makes me feel worse. God, how do I take back control? The stars don't move when I go under. The earth stays still as the waves crash over. Do I tie myself to the stars? Do I anchor myself to the earth? No. I can't reach that high. I don't know how to get that far down. I don't know what to do.
Lose your plans. Everything is out of your hands. You did your best in the hardest of times, but you don't need to try. Just be in your body, see through your eyes. Just feel your beating heart. Breathe.
The sun's rising now. Strange. I didn't do that. Oh, the seas are calm. But my sails are torn from my own stubborn desire to have them raised. Maybe last night was always meant for me. Maybe this morning was too. What if my role, my control, the only thing I needed to do was breathe?
Just be in your body, see
Wow, man. Oh, man, that gave me so much emotion. I'm just crying. It's just so beautiful to know you, man. I appreciate your vulnerability so much. I look up to you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I think it's hard because, like, you know, you become a pretty famous person, and a lot of people know who you are, and there's a lot of stakes, and there's a lot of just holding a lot of other people together, including me. So, like, for you to, it's just a really heavy burden being in that role, and I think it can sometimes feel like you don't get to speak up and say what your thing is and say what's going on and feel your feelings. And I don't know, to me, I don't want to project and put words in your mouth.
Well,
but
I think what I've been learning is that that's not actually true, you know, and that I do have those people in my life that want to hold that kind of space for me. It's more, there's a self-imposed pedestal that you can get into where you feel like I have to hold it together so that they can be okay. When I think just something I've been learning this year is that actually when I really do let those walls down, you know, in my personal relationships, in my friendships, in my marriage, and my family relationships, when I can let those walls down, there's so much space for me. There's so much space for me to be in pain and for me to not be okay and for me to be just a human. But you can sometimes get drunk on your own Kool-Aid, and you think that, oh, because I have this image out there where I'm taking care of people, I have to have it all together. And I don't think that was a standard anyone was really holding me to. I think that was something I was holding me to. And so that's actually been the relief of this season, is to just get really vulnerable in a lot of my just key friendships, and to receive love and receive help and receive just support in seasons where I really need it. And that has just been like cold water on a hot day. It's just been like, oh, what a relief. So sitting where I'm at now feels like a lot of relief instead of pressure. And how much of that pressure was in my head, you know, was actually surprising.
How does it feel to see that and release it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like just showing people what it's felt like the whole time, you know. And so it's not like the actual video brings up a lot of emotion for me, just because that's been the water I've been swimming in for a long time. So to get to share it, it feels good, just because I think I'm on that side of it now where I feel like there's been relief, and there's been like, oh, like people watching don't have to be like, is Matthias like breaking down? Like, no, it's like he's fine. Like, but there was some crises that I think we all go through in our lives, even folks who are in a helping field, like, go through crises. And the answer to that is you have to lean into people. You have to be willing to open up and receive love from others. So I had to walk the talk, I guess, because that's what I tell people, and so that's what I did. You know, that's a little bit of the experience.
So beautiful, man. And I love that we have something kind of chronicled that you can refer to as just sort of like part of your self-acceptance journey in that. And I don't know, I just feel so honored to be in that space. And I'm so grateful you did, you know, because we had this poem written earlier this year, and then seeing how you interpreted it visually, just like, I just got it like immediately.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so good.
So,
thanks for the medium.
yeah,
That was
of course. Okay, well, I think it's probably a good time to share with you the next poem, which is from Whitney. And yeah, if Whitney were here, I don't know what she'd say, but I don't want to project my meaning onto her, but I'm the only one that's heard the poem so far. So what I would say is like, yeah, I feel like she wrote this poem out of a sense of oscillation, and a sense of like, sometimes there are really great times and sometimes there are really difficult times, and it's so easy to look at the positive things in our lives as just kind of being something that isn't accessible, and we wish for that all the time, but it's not reality. It's not reality that we have like these positive days all the time. And I think we're a life of Instagram, like you were saying, when we have our lives in front of people, it's that there's a lot of pressure for us to just be okay, and we put ourselves through that standard. And I think she kind of taps into. I'm dancing around it because I don't want to ruin it, so I think I'm just gonna shut up and like
That's
let you guys watch.
No worries.
Her words are better than mine, so just forget everything I said. We're gonna watch Whitney's poem, and she made this all herself. She didn't get any help. She just like did a total homemade thing, and I think it's fantastic. So I hope you guys enjoy it too. This is Before the Fall by Whitney.
Yesterday, I was asked to describe life in a single word, and after a moment of contemplation, the word that floated to the surface was persistent, because I have never known anything as certain as the fact that life will go on. Yesterday, I woke to the sight of dust dancing in the sunlight cascading over my bed, and like a sailor gazing at stars, I was suddenly certain of the journey ahead. My future, tied up neatly in flecks of sunlight before my eyes, purpose tugging at my chest. I was awake. I was alive. Yesterday, I woke up with a different person living in my skin. Someone so confident that they could sway the ocean if they wished, and so I did. I did wish, and the tide moved in harmony with me. I was just as much myself as I was the earth and the sea. Yesterday, I saw the world in color, in vibrant hues of blue and green, gray skies of the past becoming a monochromatic memory. I did not know misery, and misery did not know me. Yesterday, I doubted my doubts more than I worshipped them. I rejected my fear more than I followed it. I abandoned my hesitation like a dirty pair of shoes that I've been wearing for too long, and I dressed myself in the purpose that was so tangible in my fingertips. I ran my hands over my anxiety and decided it was no longer worth holding. I traced the border of my pain, then let it dissipate into the sky. I felt the weight of my sorrow, then let it escape the cage of my mind. Yesterday, I woke up with love inhabiting every space within me, hate becoming a shadow that cowered in the corner of my mind. Life was in fact beautiful, and I did, in fact, have time. You see, I've always been the kind of person who forgets that life exists on a pendulum, and yesterday I was swinging high, and from above the trees my shame became small. From above the mountains there was nothing but sky, nothing but hope, nothing but light. Yesterday I did not care that the light can be as blinding as the darkness, that life may be persistent but it isn't always kind, that love has a way of making me disregard my fear of heights. How can I think about the fall when I am dancing in the sky? How can I lower my head when there is helium in my mind? I am floating among the clouds. I do not care about the rain. I am on top of the world. I cannot think about pain, and so yesterday I was at the top of the mountain looking over it all. Yesterday I was 3,000 feet tall. Yesterday I forgot that the higher I climb, the further I fall. Today, I was asked to describe life in a single word. And after a moment of contemplation, the word that floated to the surface was fragile. Because I have never known anything as certain as the fact that life will end.
Yeah,
Good job,
let's give it up for
Whitney.
Whitney,
That's so
man.
That's so good.
Yeah, there's so much there. When I first heard this poem, I just burst into tears. I was having a pretty rough go. This was early spring, and I resonated with that so hard. Just longing for yesterday, and feeling like, man, what happened? Like, I was so happy, I was so fulfilled, I was so aligned, and then here I am, just on the brink of just anxious collapse, and just feeling so in my head and struggling, and just and having all of the perfect. I love how much he just honed in on yesterday, because we have all this perfect clarity. We know what it's like to thrive. We know what it's like to be aligned and feeling, empowered and confident. And then some days we just do not have it. And I don't know. And it could be something internal. It could be circumstantial. And I just feel like that's such a universal, beautiful offering to the world that she's giving. And Whitney, if you're watching this, I don't know what's going on. You didn't give me a lot of specifics, but I just hope you feel those words, like, we love you so much. And whatever, if there's a struggle or whatever's going on, you have offered us and me so much just with this poem. And, I'm just want to express my deep gratitude to you for that. It's such a beautiful gift. But Allie, how'd you feel about it? What do you think?
What comes to mind is almost like defiant hope. No matter what, she just kind of has this, feels like a marching drum of just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
And also just the way she's so good at making things very raw and very personal, and for a professional video to not feel polished but still be beautiful.
Yeah.
Is such a gift and a talent. And I mean, I'm just a huge fan. I love her work. So yeah, defiant hope.
Cool, I like that.
Yeah.
Matthias, got any thoughts?
I'm glad she ended it on a somber note. I'm glad that she let the fragility be there without fixing it, or without putting a silver lining on it.
Yeah.
So I just respect that artistic decision immensely. I think that's so good.
Oh man, I got so much to say about that. It's just crazy how in pop music that is just unacceptable. When you're making pop music for people, it's just I have had these beautiful songs that I've sent to teams and people who are the gatekeepers for artists, and we don't want a negative song. It's we want a song that the world can sing over their barbecues. And sometimes life does not work that way. And to just be willing to end the song. And what's cool about this, guys, is that song feeds directly into Matthias' songs. We had this yesterday, and we come to today, and then Matthias' song starts. And I hope you guys listen to it on Spotify. It flows so perfectly, and it's really beautiful. You open the record after this. 14 minutes. Guys, this is so fun. So nice. I mean, it's been a lot of time, a lot of work, but I feel just so fortunate to have you guys here and sharing this. I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, but I also did a spoken word piece over.
I was about to say, I want to hear Jeff speak his
Yeah.
mystery track.
So yeah, they haven't heard this,
I'm
and
excited.
you guys haven't heard this. Very few have. My mom
haven't heard
has.
it?
I have not heard
No,
it.
he hasn't heard it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kept it real secret. I'm legit.
You're legit.
I'm legit with
You're
the secret.
cool.
I'm so cool. Anyway, I'm not gonna. I guess what I will say is, I basically wrote this as a way of encouraging myself in the middle of I was planning on undergoing some really intense therapy, and I wanted to give myself just this deep dive into my subconscious, and I wanted to have something to listen to when I was at my lowest, darkest low. And so this is really just for me. It's a conversation from me in a little bit more of an aligned, empowered state, talking to myself when I'm in the throes of grief and loss, or just the throes of resistance. And so I don't have to say more than that, but it's a letter to myself, basically. So
Right.
this is this song called "Strong as Death," and this is a spoken word version.
you're tired. I know you're confused. I know you feel like giving up. So many days just feel the same. Like nothing is changing. Like you're running out of time. Like you're falling behind. It's so hard to keep holding on. So let go and fall deep into the feeling, deep into the sadness, deep into the pain, deep into the grief, deep into the confusion, deep into the doubt, welcoming everything, pushing away nothing. Let it consume you. Let it transform you. Let it engulf you until there is nothing left. And now breathe. Feel the weight. Feel the space beneath the thoughts, beneath the feelings, beneath the words, even beneath the silence. It's everything, and it's nothing. But it's not a dream. This is real. This is your life. And it matters. It all mattered. So now rise. You are free. You are strong. You are present. You are powerful. You are safe. You are sound. You are awake. You are aware. You are open. You are here. You are now. You are alive.
Wow, tell me about your thought process art creatively. Why'd you go this direction? Tell me all about it.
Man, well, I feel like I think the main thing is the falling into the void. I think that's so often, and I don't know. You're the mental health specialist, so maybe this isn't advisable for everyone. I don't know, but for me, I found that when I just
Fully witnessed it all.
Well, when I just let go of all resistance and any bit of just like pushing back the pain, pushing back the fear and the grief, and just like let it all just hit me as hard as possible, and the feeling of just like falling into this vortex of just all these intense emotions that I'm afraid of. it has this like cleansing quality where it's like you really are permeated by it. Just like, oh, that grief, like I needed to feel that grief. I needed to feel that sadness. And, you know, and I think that we can't force that. Sometimes we really aren't ready and shouldn't push ourselves past what feels safe. But I feel like what I've learned in my life is all these times where I've said, this isn't safe. Like there's like a real, like there's, I don't know who said this, but what I'm talking about is it's kind of like being afraid to jump out of a plane. You jump out of a plane and then you're falling and you're terrified because you're falling to your death, and then you realize there's actually no ground. There's no splat. There's just letting go, the surrender, the cathartic fall.
Yeah,
Anyway.
got it.
Got it. He keeps me honest. And
It's beautiful. No, that's really good.
Yeah, it just and it felt like once you do that, once you give yourself that permission to find the deepest low, then and only then I feel like you have the real bandwidth and capacity for joy, and really opening yourself up to like, I'm not just happy because I have to be. I'm willing to feel the pain and the depth of sorrow.
Yeah.
And then, so when joy shows up, you just really appreciate it. You're like, oh, this isn't joy out of obligation. This isn't joy because I have to be happy. And so to me, that feels like the mountain, like going to the deepest depths of hell and low and dark, and then just ascending to the literal top of a mountain. And shout out to Matt Shrimplin in Denver for helping me film all this. He did the drone shots, and he was we were in a pool. It was fucking freezing, sitting there just like,
That's why you were screaming.
Yeah, those were real grief. Just like, next shot, buddy, what are we doing? It was terrible. And in the mountain, and anyway, Matt, if you're watching, you're the best, man. Thank you. And yeah, Allie, any reflections or thoughts on that?
It hit me when you were in the pool, and I think this is the gift of poetry and art in general, is just complete permission to let life in all the way. And that's kind of what I took away from your poem, is to just let it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do with this project. And to me, that's what it's all about, is like letting all of the, and lately it's been more like about joy, you know, like I'm in a new relationship, and she's actually here. She's back there pulling all the strings. And I've had a lot of melancholy in my life, and it's been a lot of struggle, and it's been hard. But I think music represented that, and allowing myself not just to be stuck in the depth of heaviness, but like allowing myself to move into joy. That's been an interesting thing. Like, I want to be the stoic artist, you know. But we don't have to be. We don't have to be just a bummer all the time, just because the music is moodier. You know, I want to make happy music.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, we're kind of coming to like the time where it's like kind of countdown time for Spotify. But I wanted to say a couple things. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to, first of all, Lily. I just mentioned Lily. She's back there, and she's like, you're my favorite person on the planet, just so you know. And she's been absolutely crucial. Lily Stone has helped me with everything from the start of this record to the execution of this. Like, she's filled in so many gaps, and I love you. Just want to say that for everybody. The guys in the Discord server, I didn't mention this, but I have a Discord server called Cathartic Connection. They've probably been chatting and saying, come to the Discord server, it's happening. That's actually a place, like, if you guys like what we're doing and like the vibe of this, I have a server and a community of people I'm trying to kind of rally around these values and ideas. And so Taylor, Olivier, and Shane, and Sam couldn't be there, but thanks guys so much for like holding down the fort. And just tonight, I actually have like a first wave kind of like little badge if you're on Discord. You got one more night to join this server, and then after tonight, you don't get the OG badge. So just click the link, you know, check it out. You don't have to join if you don't want to, but I think if you like this, you'll probably like Cathartic Connection and what we're doing there. So what else we got? Yeah, I guess if you guys like this, again, I was like, should we sell a book? How do we work this out to make this worth it? And I think the way that this is worth it for us, and if you guys want to support what Allie's doing, what Whitney's doing, Matthias, what I'm doing, the best thing you can do today is when the album drops in 2 minutes, we're actually going to, I don't know if I didn't even mention this at the beginning. I forgot. We're going to be donating 50% of the proceeds of all streaming for the first 10 days to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. It's a really high reputation organization that champions a lot of the values that we're talking about here. And I think they're a great organization to partner with. And ultimately, if we can turn a profit on this, I can send them a check, and I would love to do that. But basically, what we need from you guys is just your help. Essentially, if you guys can blow up this record on Spotify and give Spotify just the green light, like, oh, this is like actually a real thing, they may actually come our way and offer us an editorial playlist for spoken word, because that doesn't exist yet. There are some user playlists, but there's no official editorial Spotify for spoken word, which is a shame. Spotify, we're coming for you. And that sounded aggressive. I love you. Thank you, Spotify. But what you guys can do is just for the next little while, just if you guys just play it, share it. That's probably the best thing you could possibly do for us is share it with people you think really need some of these songs or these messages. Like, we just want to keep making it, and we want to keep sharing it. And if there's a way for us to keep doing it, we'd love your support and your help. So yeah, if you have a chance to share this link or send it to, and I think that's really, I love when people post things on stories and social media, but not to be too pushy here, but if you want to share this in a way that's really meaningful, the best thing you could possibly do is send somebody a message. It says like, I thought of you personally, and this song came to my mind. That's the main thing that you could probably do if you really want to help. Because I'm not looking for your money. I'm not trying to sell you stuff, maybe later. I don't know. But for now, I'm just, so anyway, we got 8 seconds until the album comes out. I've just been talking my ass off. So in 3, 2, 1.
It's out!
We'll see. If I did all my uploading correctly, it should be out on Spotify for the next, until midnight. It drops at midnight Eastern time everywhere else on all platforms. Yeah, I think, Lily, is it up? Can you find it?
We're refreshing.
We're gonna refresh. I just want to see if it's up. Let's see. And I also want to
go stream it.
Yeah, let's just look. This is so casual at this point.
All right.
Let's see. Cathartic Fall. Is it out? Did I do it right?
Hopefully.
The Features is out! Woo!
It's out. Awesome.
Oh, it's got your names. Look. Got your
The
names
features
on it. Yeah, there you are, Ali Michelle.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, Trev's.
We're official.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start streaming it. If you throw it on your playlists on Spotify, and if you share it with your friends, that would make all of this super meaningful, and we appreciate your support. And
awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for joining us and hanging out tonight. This was so great.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for being here. This was so great.
Thank you. I loved your poem.
Thank you. I loved yours. This is so great.
Thank you, Lily. You're the best.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna go, and send me a message on DMs, guys. Follow these people if you don't already, and we all love responding to DMs and comments. Sometimes we can't get to all of them, but we love hearing from you. So send us a message, send us anything. We'd love to connect, and join the Discord server. I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
Thank you.
See you guys.